What's up, YouTube? Um, it's my first ever video ever in my life that I've recorded and uploaded to YouTube, but I want to start my own channel, and this is the beginning. But there's a bigger issue behind why I've decided to start doing YouTube. And it's not the most light-hearted one, so if that's not what you're looking today in a recording, in a video, you just want to sit down and relax, dude. But if you do want to listen to what I have to say, I'd really appreciate it. How do I start this? This is hard for me to talk about. I want to almost tell a story, just so you understand what I'm trying to say and just the message I'm trying to give. I'm sorry if the mic quality is bad, and I'm sorry if the gameplay isn't the best, but it's what I have, and I hope that's good enough to listen through. A young guy in Africa, born and raised here, not anything weird. And life has been really rough. Life has not dealt me a kind hand in life, and that's okay, but I need your help. I grew up on a farm with my family of 3 brothers, my mother and my father. My oldest brother's 29, my second oldest is 27, my third oldest is now 25. And when I was 6, my father passed away from a stress and a blood vessel bursting in his head, and was confined to a hospital bed, unconscious, unable to speak, unable to listen, and it was very hard for us. And eventually we had to pull the plug because there almost wasn't any hope, and we tried everything. My mother prayed for days and days and nights and was ridiculed for her actions, though she was the one who had to be left with no husband in her life. And that has made things very difficult, because when my father left, it left a big gap in our family that, honestly, in my opinion, greatly tore us apart. For much of my life I did not know my eldest brother and my third oldest brother. My brother, who's 27, when my father died, he started turning to drugs and different things, and he became more violent. Luckily, he is now in rehab and has become a much better man with God and in general. a man I can call my brother, and a man I respect with all my heart. Just continue listening, and I promise it won't take long to get to the point. So it was very difficult for us, with it only being me, my brother, my mother and me. When my father died, my mother developed severe and almost to a point chronic depression. That burdened her every day and was very hard for me to watch as a child, not understanding enough what she's going through, at the time at least. And the reason I'm making this is because we need money. Not that, in a way, not that we are dying, not that we are worse off than the most people in this country, but it is causing my mother extreme stress. And the reason why we need money is because our roof has fallen twice now in the last 2 years. The first one was caused by leaks in the roof that then developed, not developed, but then caused us to have to put buckets and all the Tupperware and kitchen, anything that would hold any amount of water in our kitchen, hoping the storm would pass, praying that it wouldn't let the ceiling fall. And we had to dump out liters and liters and liters of water down the sink and outside into the garden, just trying not to let the house flood. But eventually the ceiling could hold it no more, and it collapsed, with our cleaner beneath it. Luckily she came out with very minor and unserious injuries. However, that night was a storm as well, and me, my mother and my brother had to sweep water out of our house, with panels and electricity laying everywhere, with us fearing that the whole house might come down, that the roof might come down, and the wires laying down, scared of electrical shocks. And at the time we had wooden flooring, which the insurance refused to pay for after it absolutely was ruined. It was unfixable, as well as many other furniture pieces were destroyed, because there was at least I want to say between 5 centimeter and 3 centimeter layer of water we had to sweep out of the whole house, and it is not that small of an area to sweep. The house we are staying in is a house my father built. And on a side note, we would be well off if my father had just left the money with my mother to have access to it. But the two people who hold the trust is my uncle and my dad's friend. My dad's friend there's a lot of hatred I have towards him because of the actions he's done towards my mother and the refusal to give money to us when we desperately need it, and it to be his way only. The insurance only covered the roof, and when it was replaced, It only had a year's warranty, and as soon as the warranty was up, the ceiling fell, and the insurance refused to cover it. Now my mother has to take 60,000 rand out of her retirement fund that she had to beg the retirement company for. And it is causing her immense stress, which is an extreme problem because a year before the roof fell for the first time, she had extreme, I think it's, I can't remember what it is in English, I just know it in my native language. But I think it's your gallbladder. She had, I think, 3 or 4 extreme stones in there that nearly killed her. The doctors didn't think she was gonna make it out alive. And not too long before that, she also had an extremely risky back operation. So my mother cannot handle stress in the slightest. Not that she can't handle it, but it is extremely bad for her health, and her blood pressure day by day continues to rise because of these financial crises, where we have to live paycheck to paycheck, where my mom is 52 now, and she's almost too old to work. There's a lot of details I've left out, and I'm not asking you just to throw away your money at me like I'm a beggar on the street, but I'm a person that needs help, because I want to make sure I don't need to worry about my mother's health at night when money gets tighter and tighter. And people watching, you're one of my only hopes. Not only, but if you could help, it would mean a lot. You're not my only hope. I'm sorry I preface that a bit too extreme. There's ways I can try to make money for myself, although I am extremely young and I can only get a part-time job. But doing that and learning coding as well as schools will be very difficult. I will be streaming and making videos online, so if you want to help me and if you just want to watch me just in the background maybe, I would really appreciate that. That way you are getting something out of it, even if I'm not that entertaining. I'll give it all I got to make it as entertaining as possible. Thank you for listening. I'm sorry if my words were messy or the game wasn't as entertaining as you want it to be. I'm not asking for everything, and I'm not asking you to donate if you can't, or if you don't want to, or if you want or need your money for something. I completely understand. My goal was just for my mother's heart to rest easy, so she may stop for once in her life stressing about what's next, as a widow that has not been respected in life. But yeah, that's what I wanted to say, and thank you for listening. Again, I'm sorry for all the quality issues, but I hope my words are worth enough to listen to. God bless.